We start this hour in Southeast Asia, and Thailand and Cambodia have agreed today to halt weeks of their fiercest border clashes in years. The ceasefire took place at noon, with both sides agreeing to hold current troop positions. Defence ministers warned that any further reinforcements would raise tensions and hurt long-term peace efforts. The fighting lasted around 20 days and included fighter jet sorties, rocket fire and artillery barrages. At least 101 people were killed and more than 500,000 people were displaced on both sides of the border. Violence flared earlier this month after a previous ceasefire brokered with US support in July collapsed. Officials say today's agreement is aimed at restoring stability along the disputed frontier. Joining us now is Professor Veselin Popovsky, a professor and Vice Dean at Jindal Global Law School located in Tokyo. Thank you very much for joining us this hour, Professor Popovsky. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. What could have been agreed here? Obviously, we have limited information. However, we saw fighting flare up again rather easily earlier this month. What are your thoughts in what has to be settled here in order to even get a temporary truce, let alone a permanent one? I believe you might be muted.
We hear good news both sides. Basically, both sides are positive. They say they want to de-escalate. So the political statements from Thailand and Cambodia both are very positive. And I'm optimistic here because if both sides talk about stopping the fire, it sounds good. And now whether it will last, that's a difficult question to say. It's a very large border, we have to understand, and it's very easy to spark. A single bullet from one side can spark an overreaction from the other side. The accusations usually go both ways, and they kind of try to find justification both ways. Thai said that the Cambodians are deploying some drones. Cambodians, the Thai troops advanced to a temple, 11th century temple, where, by the way, the conflict started from that temple when Cambodia wanted to recognize the temple as a UNESCO protected one, and Thai disagree because the temple is located in the disputed area. And because that can spark very easily, but the messages are positive because both sides recognize they should mitigate, they should defer from escalation very quickly. And hopefully it will end this round, but we don't know what happened next year and how long this dispute will. So it's by the way, it's a century-old conflict.
Yeah.
Since the was demarcated by the French colonizing Cambodia. It's a very old conflict, but very low-intensity conflict. In other words, we saw the July round with 48 casualties, both civilians and military. Now we have 12 casualties, mostly civilians on the Thai side for the last couple of days. Again, low intensity, long conflict. Hopefully there will be leadership in both sides, and I'm not talking about political, but also military leadership that can exercise a proper containment.
Yeah, and what do you think pushed the both sides to agree this now? Pressure, fatigue, or real diplomatic intent to get this, as you say, centuries-old conflict concluded?
Yes, possibly both sides want to look good. They want to show to the world their talk is positive, that they are for peace. They don't want to look aggressive. They don't want to be warriors. And that's on the political side looks promising. As I mentioned, the question is on the military side, what the military leaders will do also, and how they will tell their officers, their soldiers, their armies also to de-escalate. So it's really a place where some monitoring might be necessary, some confidence measures might be necessary. And this is where, again, I will ask, where is the United Nations here? Well, ideally, there should be a demilitarized zone monitored by the United Nations so that they are not back-to-back the Thai and the Cambodian military. If there is even a very narrow militarized zone, that will be very, very helpful here. So that might be one solution in the future.
And Professor Popovsky, as far as we know, the US involvement in negotiating this, it wasn't as substantial as prior. We had a Truth Social post from Donald Trump last time. We had one this time. It was ignored by both sides. What will this say for Donald Trump's negotiating credibility? How his first peace deal with Thailand and Cambodia fell apart in the way that it did?
Well, that's funny because Donald Trump doesn't play any role here, but he listened to the news, and if there is something somewhere, he jumps in and says, we did it. Yeah. He did nothing. It is local, it's bilateral between the two sides. Well, when they signed a peace in Kuala Lumpur back in the summer, Donald Trump volunteered to go himself, and he made himself as a peacemaker, which is basically he's self-imposing himself every time there is a potential peace. By the way, both sides did not recognize that. They don't call it Donald Trump peace. They even don't call it Kuala Lumpur peace agreement. The Thai are very clear. It's a bilateral declaration by the Thai and Cambodian following up from a meeting in Kuala Lumpur. Nothing to do with Donald Trump. He's simply a clown that tries to get attention, and that's it.
Yes. Professor Popovsky, once again, stay with us as we move over to more diplomacy. And Russia has accused Ukraine